All right. Good evening, everyone. So I am Demesia Razzo. I am the Director of Workforce Programs here at Seattle. And Kaylee, I know you. I don't think I've met Annika yet. But what I have, you should be able to, the students are really familiar with Blackboard Collaborate, but for everybody else on the call, there is a little purple arrow kind of at the bottom right hand side of the screen. And if you pop that out, you'll have a few features. You can chat, and then you can also, I allowed everyone to share their video and to share their mics, and so I would really encourage people to use their mics tonight, since we're going to be a smaller group, and I think you'll get a little bit more interaction that way. So I wanted to go ahead and do some introductions. So again, I'm Demesia, and we do have a couple of employees on the call tonight that I wanted you to see and say hi to. So Allison and Carmen, if you will say hi to the group.
Sorry, my mic wasn't unmuted. This is Allison Uden. I'm the CTE advisor at the Alliance campus for the Aviation Business and Logistics program.
Okay, and Carmen.
Hi, I'm Carmen, and I'm trying to get my camera to work, and I got an error message. My name is Carmen Wise, and I work in the Learning Resource Center at the Center of Aviation also.
Yeah. And Carmen has actually attended the Women in Aviation International Conference, so she can talk a little bit about that. She's a pro. And then I just had the opportunity for the first time to go this past spring, right in the middle of the outbreak of COVID, right before everybody was getting sent home for everything. So it was a really good opportunity for me. And while I was there, it was just really inspiring to see all these women in a space. There were students there. There are like employers that were there. There were just a lot of passionate people. The keynotes were awesome. So after having that experience, I thought it was going to be important for me to make sure that you all know, as students here, about this organization, about its opportunities, and then also so that we can maybe do a little bit more with our local chapter, who is also amazing and awesome, and they rocked the conference. They were everywhere. So I was really excited to connect with them as well. So that is my little bit of introduction at the end. So I'm going to let them present a little bit about the organization. We are recording it because there were a few people that wanted to come, but because of work schedules and flight schedules couldn't make it tonight. So I'll make sure to share that with them as well. And then I want to open up for any questions that students may have to the group after as well. And I just have a few announcements right at the end. So that's our agenda for today. So I guess, Molly, you're going to be the one that's going to do the presentation. I'm going to tell you how to, there you got your camera on, okay. So for you.
And it's the little box with the arrow that says screen application or share applications.
Share applications, correct, yeah, it is.
Okay, so let me see what I can do here. Whoa. Does that help? Can you see? Okay,
yeah, you can see it right there.
All righty. This is different than some of the other ones I've used.
It is. It's a little bit funky.
So oh gosh, can you see all of it or just the big presentation screen?
Yeah, it's in presentation mode, it looks like.
Great. So you can see the little ones at the bottom too?
Yes.
Okay, that wasn't the idea.
There. Now we can just see. Yeah.
All righty. So I just wanted to give everybody a real quick heads up about kind of start with building the base about what is Women in Aviation International as a whole. And then we can drill down a little bit into the chapter. We're in a little bit of a unique place. I work for headquarters. I'm the outreach director at headquarters, and I live and work in Dallas. So I am also part of the local Dallas chapter with Chrissy and Lauren, who are also on this call. Chrissy also works with me on chapter management and chapter outreach and trying to provide new tools to chapters. So Chrissy's very well versed in the overall chapter network, as well as being the president of the local North Texas chapter of Women in Aviation International. So I don't know how the questions work on this or how they pop up, but Chrissy can help answer questions, and I'd be happy to answer questions as well. Our mission is a little bit different than some of the other aviation organizations you may be have heard of before. So instead of us being about one group of aviation professionals, we're about all the groups of aviation professionals. So we encourage women and girls to get into aviation in whatever way they want to. So be it a pilot, a mechanic, an engineer, an astronaut, an air traffic controller. I'm a marketing weenie. I've sold airplanes my whole life. So there's just a myriad of ways to get involved in aviation, and Women in Aviation is the group that represents all of the ladies who are in all of those fields. And we allow men into the organization too. So while we are unapologetically pro-chick and all about women in aviation, we welcome gentlemen as well. Our supporters are real important to us. We are all about providing resources to our members, and I'll get into some of those, and bringing our pioneers, to the forefront. Without the ladies that have come before us, none of us would be able to really exercise the opportunities that we have now. I'm really excited to hear that you guys were able to come to conference, so you'll be able to relate to some of this a little bit. One of the really important tools that we provide is scholarships, and I assumed that this group would be very interested in scholarships and how to find money to help pay for your training, for college credits, for things of that nature. Women in Aviation has provided over $13 million in scholarships to this point. And this year alone, we provided $831,000 in scholarships. For 2021, our scholarship window is already open, and it closes relatively soon. It closes November 10th. Very important. The only thing you have to do to qualify to apply for a scholarship is be a WAI member by November 1st. So I'm going to say that again. So you have to apply. The only thing you have to do is be a WAI member by November 1st. And we have over 80 scholarships right now, valued at over $600,000 already in this crazy year. And so the airlines really are not in a position to offer a bunch of scholarships. So that 632 is actually without airline participation. So it was going to be a big year without COVID. Thank you, COVID. It's the gift that keeps on giving this year. Conference has been a lot of fun. We have seen 4,500 active WAI members attend conference each year for the last 2 years. This coming year is in Reno, Nevada, at the Sparks Convention Center, and I think I have a duplicate slide in here. I sure do. This year, our speakers were really, really dynamic. We had Barbara Barrett, the Secretary of the Air Force, Stephanie Chung, the President of Jet Suite, Eileen Collins, who was a NASA astronaut, Joan Robinson Berry, who was a Senior VP Boeing, and believe it or not, we actually had Captain Marvel, Major General Jeannie Leavitt, who the Captain Marvel of the movies was actually modeled after Jeannie Leavitt. So this is just 5 of our speakers. We had 3 days of amazing speakers at this level. And yeah, it's really used to be people went to conference to see their friends only, and the speakers were okay. Now it's about those speakers and how dynamic they are, and informational and inspirational. And then, oh my God, you get to see the people who you have now made your lifelong friends throughout the industry. Women in Aviation all across the world, we're now over 15,600 members. We're getting very close to 16,000 members. We started back in actually 1994, but even just since 2009, we've more than doubled our membership ranks. We've got individual members, nearly 5,000 student members, a bunch of corporate members, and members all over the world representing 89 countries, all over the world. And that's where the chapters come in. While we have 115 chapters in the United States, we've got another 43 chapters all over the world, everywhere from China to Brazil, Australia, all over Canada, throughout Africa and Europe and Asia. So it's really the chapter network is really how international goes local. And one thing that people look for from women in aviation is this energy level. The folks who were able to go to conference, I think you can probably chime in on this. There's an energy there that replenishes your battery, so to speak. It's aviation is a fun, amazing industry to be in. But there aren't so many girls, there aren't so many women in the industry, and that can be a little bit tiring. And so to be able to go to conference and see all these women who have made the same choices you've made, who love the same things you love, who are passionate about the same things you're passionate about, this is your tribe. These are women you click with. And the energy you get from that really serves as a recharging event. So we do that once a year, and I think the chapter network started because everybody was looking for a way to take it home with them. How do I get this energy level year round? And the chapter network is that answer. 5 years ago, we had 70 total chapters. We now have 140 chapters worldwide, and 42% of our total membership is involved in a chapter in their local area. They do all kinds of things. I can let's see. We've already done scholarships. So I'm going to come back to chapters because I think Chrissy and Lauren can talk a little bit about the local chapter here and about the absolutely amazing things that get done here in the Dallas area, which is really the aviation, mecca of the world. That's my opinion, but it's an educated opinion. So there's so much to do here and so many interesting women. So I'll let Chrissy and Lauren talk about that, and I'm just going to go through a little bit more about women in aviation. We've got this incredible magazine that as a member you'll get 6 times a year. We've got a terrific website that is 24/7. We have this incredible mentorship program that you guys might be most interested in. It's all online. It's all behind the firewall. So, the creepers out there can't just find women who are looking for mentors. It's all for women in aviation members by women in aviation members. And you can go in as a member and search for a specific kind of mentor, a mentor in a specific area, and reach out to them online, connect there. And Chrissy is a great example. Chrissy had a terrific mentor when she was in college. I'll let her also tell that story. And this program is just absolutely key to what makes the whole Women in Aviation program go. Also on our website, very near and dear to our hearts right now, is the WAI Jobs Connect. Again, if you've looked for a job online, you'll find that many of the job sites are hosting jobs that are not really jobs, right? They're selling you something. They're selling you a resume service, or they're selling you a coaching service or something along those lines. There's none of that on this site. This is just Women in Aviation corporate members posting actual jobs that are available right now, and they're most interested in WAI members because they know us to be serious, passionate, engaged, involved in our education and continued learning. And so we're a highly sought after group. Our social media has blown up. If you're not already following us either on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or YouTube, which has really become our powerhouse, where we are keeping hundreds and hundreds of videos of interviews and tours and activities, please do so. Search for Women in Aviation International and we'll pop right up. And you know, just to kind of reiterate that we are not just pilots. We are pilots. I'm a pilot. We're pilots and so much more. Engineers, and I mean, I've talked to WAI members who are volcanologists. She studies volcanoes, but she's also a pilot, and she uses her pilot skills and flies to different volcanoes all over the world, and that assists in her scientific study. So it's just an amazingly diverse and dynamic group of women that I can't believe I've been lucky enough to be a part of and to get to know. We've talked about that. Sorry for interrupting. So another thing that makes WAI very, very unique is that, you know, a lot of associations, the groups are aging, right? Well, our average age for those 15,000 members is 32 years old. So we have a huge group of YoPros, young professionals. We've got a huge group of students. We've got a huge group of people who are in the middle of their career. And we've got a huge group of ladies who have accomplished an awful lot and are really the women that we've followed and are our pioneers and our, you know, they kind of are our guiding lights. So there's something for everybody in this group. And for sure, there's a group of friends and mentors and people who can understand what all of us are going through in this group. You'll see us at Oshkosh. This is the photo from 2 years ago at Oshkosh. We started Women Venture 11, 12 years ago at EAA Air Venture. And now, we thought, well, let's all just get together and have a picture. So these 10 years later, we're now thousands of women at Oshkosh getting in front of an airplane that United brings in specially, and they fly it in with an all-female crew. And this thousands of women are standing out there on the ramp, hanging, and up comes this United aircraft, and the women, the crew, are hanging out of the windows because they can't believe, look at all these women that are there to greet them. And oh, by the way, the UPS airplane right there that we're under their tail too, that was flown in by a female crew too, just especially for this. And that happens every year. Well, when there are trade shows going on. Girls in Aviation Day is a huge initiative for us. It's become that way relatively quickly. You know, people ask us, okay, there are very few female pilots, there are very few female engineers, there are very few women in this industry. What are you actually doing to change that? Well, in our opinion, it's a long game. You don't change it in a year, you don't change it in 5 years, but in 20 years you do, and you do that by going back to the little girls and saying to them when they're 8, 9, 10, that this is an option for you. And a lot of girls don't even know that aviation is an option for them. They don't know they could be an air traffic controller or an engineer or an astronaut or a teacher or a journalist in the aviation world. So Girls in Aviation Day was dreamt up 6 years ago. And in the course of just 6 years, we grew from just over 3,000 kids worldwide to over 20,000 last year worldwide. We just had our Girls in Aviation Day this year. We were not able to hold in-person events, so we launched an app, an Aviation for Girls app, and that is available now to you. It's free. It's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Anywhere in the world you can get an internet service, and all of the content is there for you on demand. So if you have a iPhone, a smartphone, an iPad or tablet, a computer, it's also available on computers, available on your Apple Watch. Go to wherever you get your apps and search for WAI events, and the app will come up and it's free. And there's hundreds of hours of activities on there and videos and tours. It's absolutely marvelous. So I would invite you to go there. that's what we did this year in lieu of holding a in-person Girls in Aviation Day. We sent these cool kits to the over 5,000 kids who registered for the app early ahead of time. And so there's some fun stuff in there and all the activities. We don't have any more of those. We sold out. The really cool thing about the app is that while we may have reached 20,000 kids last year, we were only in like 18 countries. This year, we're already over 55 countries. And it's in countries like Uzbekistan and Peru and places, that we just have never been. We don't have chapters, we don't have corporate members, we don't have any members. But now we've got girls who've been exposed to this Aviation for Girls app, and they have a place to go to feed that curiosity about aviation. So it was an entirely different year, but it was a really successful year. With that kit, and available now and online, is Aviation for Girls magazine. It is our 6th issue, and it's there and available now on our go to wai.org, and you can get it right now. 55 countries, 6 years, and next year we're really hoping that we'll be able to get back together again in person on September 25th and do Girls in Aviation Day again. The top center photo is Girls in Aviation Day Dallas from several years ago. Gosh, Chrissy, it might have been our very first big one. We had over 3,000 kids register for the event last year. Roughly 2,000 showed up, so we were by and large the biggest event in the world, and we just have a whole lot of fun. Like I said,
Molly, just real quick, we
Sure.
we attend, TCC does, we have a table, and we've had some of our female students in our programs there volunteering at our table, and it is just an amazing event, and we hope it's in person because it was such a fun day.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. Yeah. So of equal importance to us is really honoring the women who have come before us, and making sure that we remember them, that we pay our respects to their accomplishments, because truly we're standing on their shoulders. And so we have a Pioneer Hall of Fame with women in aviation. You can see all of the inductees on wai.org. This year we inducted Major General Jeannie Leavitt. We inducted the first women's rotary wing of aviators from the U.S. Army. And we inducted a lady named Patty Wagner, who is an active airshow performer, both in the cockpit and walking the wing, which is crazy. So, but we've got, I want to say, well over 100 women in that organization now. So, and it's really interesting to learn about them. As we go forward, we recognize there are all kinds of neat new ways of getting into aviation. You have rocketry, you have, there's a new way of being an astronaut now. You can fly the platform that flies that holds on to the rocket, flies it up into the upper atmosphere, and then lets go of the rocket, and the rocket launches and lets go of a bunch of satellites. That Virgin Atlantic does that, and they have a female pilot. You can build rockets, you can build robots, you can still be a pilot, you can be an air traffic controller, and you can be just about anything you want to be. Anything you can do in this world, you can do it in aviation, we like to say. So that is my prepared remarks, so to speak.
I appreciate it.
Sure.
It's really, really good information.
Happy to answer any questions. I know I kind of just sort of blew through it. How do I turn this off so that you don't see the endless? There we go.
Yes, I think it would be good if we got a little bit of the our chapters like here locally. And I agree. We tell our students all the time that look at us for aviation programs, that we really are just a hotbed of aviation. There's all kinds of things that people can do in this field. And while we offer pilot training, we offer aviation maintenance training. We're going to be doing NDT and DI beginning in the spring, focused on aviation. There's so many things that you can do in the field. But our local chapter is also really active. So I think the students to be able to hear about that as well would be great.
Yep. So Chrissy and Lauren, I don't know if you guys want to light up your cameras and talk about the chapter at all. There she is.
Hi, friends.
You're on, girls. So Chrissy is the president of our WAI North Texas chapter. Lauren is the incoming president, the president-elect, if you will. And even just 4 or 5 years ago, the chapter didn't exist. So it's a relatively new chapter, and Chrissy's grown it to be probably the biggest chapter in the world. So that tells you two things. One, Chrissy's a rock star, and two, the Dallas-Fort Worth area is a huge center for aviation, and there's a lot of women in this area involved in aviation. So it's a great place to study. It's a great place to be involved in aviation and to get involved with the chapter. Chrissy, you're on mute, my friend.
Down in the bottom, there's a little mic.
Huh, it doesn't show that she's muted, though.
Oh,
Lauren, can
you hear me?
I can hear you, Lauren.
Okay. I can't see me, so I was hoping it was on. Yes, that's new technology. Chrissy, do you want to just work on yours a little bit more? You've got so many great things to say. But I know sometimes these laptop mics are tricky. So join back in whenever you want, Chrissy, or I'll just start talking. So hello, everyone, and I am new to this chat room, but feel free to put your faces on so I can see you. So yeah, my name is Lauren. I am relatively new to the chapter, and it's been such a delight. I really like how flexible our chapter is. You know, when I first came into it, really I actually met Molly at NBAA, and I just happened to go by the Women in Aviation booth. And I was like, oh, this will be good for networking, and it definitely is. We've met so many different people in different professions. But also, especially this year, I feel like we've all really gained a new layer of friendship through the pandemic, right? It's suddenly, I mean, we were doing socials before, but it's really been about meeting our members, our local members, to where they are, right? So for a while, I work in a repair station, but I also teach yoga classes, so I was doing that, you know, trying to get our members involved in fitness while we are really locked down. And Jeanette, who's an American Airlines captain, was calling and just checking in on people and seeing how they're doing. And we also have our own local scholarships. So, for example, this year we decided, hey, we should do a scholarship for people who've been furloughed. You know, so I really love in our chapter that we can tailor it, like, what do y'all need? What do you want more of? Obviously, International is also flexible, making the app, putting so much into revisioning Girls in Aviation Day, but especially at the local level, you know, I feel like if you want your individual voice heard, or you just have an idea to contribute, you know, what would be neat to see, what would be neat to learn about? We did a book club where I learned about so many great women historical figures I had no idea existed, I feel sad to say. So yeah, really getting those ideas out there. And even though I would say like we're a pretty powerful group, I was brand new in the last year or two, and if you want to get involved, like there's definitely a place for you, right? You know, so it's not like a closed group of leaders. We're in fact like going to do more officer elections this year. We elect only a few officers each year so that we always have new blood coming in, new voices being heard. So yeah, Chrissy, did we get you back? I think I lost her again. But I just,
she's back in. I don't think her audio is still working.
Yeah, that's okay. She has definitely, as well as like some other, of course, founding members, made the chapter what it is today. But just from a relatively newbie standpoint, I can tell you it's so special to be a part of. And you know, we just always want to expand. We always want to meet people and meet their needs. Like this year, needs have been totally different than they have been years previous. Can you speak to that, Molly?
Sure. So I have to say one of the very coolest things was being able, let me back up. So, and it's not just this year, but our members travel constantly, right? So Jeanette, I mean, the chief pilot in American Airlines is a woman, and she's in our chapter. And you never know where she's going to be. She could be on the other side of the world. Jeanette could be anywhere in the world. But to be able to do yoga with Lauren virtually, you know, from anywhere in the world. My mom and dad were sick, so I was with them and could log in. And I took a walk with them one night with the whole chapter, and I was on the other side of the country. So we've switched to a lot of virtual events. I don't know, Chrissy, if you want to talk, one of the big things that we do with the chapter is mentorship and networking. So even if you're not looking for a mentor, having the ability to network and connect is really, really important locally. What I wasn't prepared for is that these are the women locally. They're not just networking contacts, they've become my dear friends. And I don't know what I'd do without them now. Chrissy, do you have audio yet or no?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
High five, awesome.
We're so excited to hear you.
So,
Good,
but on
good.
the
I had my
mentorship side,
AirPods in, and you know, it's just kind of working. So, but I'm so excited to be here. I think I met a handful of you guys already too, which I think is great. But the Dallas chapter has become some of my closest, dearest friends ever. And like Molly said, we went from when I first joined the chapter, there was 4 of us. And now I'm waiting for an update, but somewhere in the realm of 100 people in the chapter. So whether you want to be an air traffic controller like me, or work on airplanes like Joy, or fly big, huge airplanes like Jeanette, or you want to go into management or marketing, there's someone there that is going to want to be your friend and want to help you out, whether that's coming over to help you stain a fence 2 days before you sell your house, or someone to proofread your resume before you apply for a job. Lauren used to be a copy editor, so she's really good at catching my typos. So there's always someone to hang out with and have a good time. And as board members, we have a group text that we're always texting back and forth in, and just having a great time. And the Dallas area has so many aviation-related jobs. I think someone told me 1 in 5 jobs in the DFW area is related to aviation. So if there's something here for you, there's not a better place in the world to be if you want to be in this industry. Or if you don't and you just want to fly recreationally, we have plenty of people that just fly for fun on the weekends or go and volunteer at the airport. So something for everyone.
well, and Chrissy, you have a really good mentorship story too.
Yeah.
Part of the
So
WAI mentorship program.
when I was in college, I knew I wanted to be an air traffic controller, and that's what I do full time. And I applied for the job, and they said, okay, you're hired. You're coming to training in 10 months. Okay. Never set foot in a control tower or an air route traffic control center, which is where they were hiring me for. Let me figure out what this job actually is before I move halfway across the country. So I went on WAI.org and I logged in and I was like, okay, there has to be an air traffic controller in here somewhere. So I lived in Daytona Beach, Florida at the time, and I found someone that worked at the closest center to me, which was Jacksonville Center. And I sent her an email. I said, hey, Kathy, I know this is really out of the blue. I found your name on the Women in Aviation Mentor Connect I just got hired. Can you give me a tour? And she said, I'll do you one better. Come up here. We'll do a tour. I'll take you to dinner and I'll tell you all about it. Me and her are still friends to this day. She got me involved with Professional Women Controllers, which is like a little subset of just air traffic controllers. Some of the nicest ladies I've ever met. And they just gave me a scholarship last year towards my master's degree. And Women in Aviation International gave me a scholarship, and so did our local chapter. So I don't know if the ladies mentioned, but we do usually about 4 to 6 scholarships a year locally. And I've been on the other side of the judging. I'm not anymore, but I've been on the other side of the judging, and I will tell you that it's this little teeny tiny pool. There might be 6 scholarships available and only 8 people are applying for them, so you have a really good chance of winning them. And these scholarships really have changed lives for a lot of our members. We had someone just go get a dispatch certificate, someone else continue her instrument rating after not flying for almost 10 years. So,
well, you're
lots of
both
awesome
scholarship
stories.
winners. Lauren's a
Yes.
scholarship winner too.
And I was definitely one of those people who said, I'm not qualified. I don't know. I mean, who am I even going to ask? Of course, you ask your CFI. So I work installing avionics, but I'm also a private pilot earning more ratings. So the scholarship was for additional training. And I'm like, well, I have my CFI, but what else am I going to do? Well, women in aviation, typically each scholarship is different, but usually they only require one to be someone who's flown with you. So Victoria, who is our membership chair, wrote a recommendation letter for me for how much I helped during Girls in Aviation Day, right? And that was my very first event ever. And how, it was more on those character traits, right? So you get that kind of person. And I truly think that adds a personal element. Of course, your CFI is going to say, yeah, they can fly, like, yeah, they're hardworking, but you get these different elements, and it really makes your scholarship application a lot fuller, a lot richer. And so being able to meet people, ask them for help, ask them for advice, maybe it's just a copy edit, right, is so, so helpful in this group.
And Chrissy won a big scholarship this year that's helping her go back to grad school. So
It's actually right here.
Yeah.
At my desk. It was the Airbus Leadership Grant, and funny enough, I applied for this 2 or 3 different times throughout my career in college, and I never got it. But then once I got in industry and I started taking on more roles, they said, okay, yeah, we'll give this to you. I have a good relationship with the lady that actually awarded it. She said they had 40 applications. They narrowed it down to 10 and awarded 5 of the 10 that they liked. So, and this one was for $5,000. So, some of these budgets are pretty large. And she's like, we kind of could have like given out as much as we wanted. We just kind of, gauged what we felt like this year. So, and this year's a little bit different, but I see us bouncing back sooner rather than later.
What I really like about this particular organization is it does help you not only at the student, but all throughout your career. It's not an organization that you kind of do a one and done, and I think it's a good one to grow some roots in, because it kind of cares for you throughout your career in the industry. So I think it's just amazing.
Yeah, and there are groups within the group. Some people will say that you reach different chapters in your life, right? At one point you're a college student, and then you're a recent college graduate trying to claw your way up in whatever organization you're in, and then all of a sudden you're a mom, and that brings with it a whole different set of challenges, especially if you're in aviation. How long can you fly while you're pregnant? And how do you deal with nursing your child while you're flying? And it's just a whole different set of things to sort of navigate. Now, I don't have kids, so I don't have to navigate any of that. But I watch my friends, and at least they have somebody who they can talk to, and this group has really become an important part of their lives. And then, some of us get married more than once, and I got married and picked up the phone and called my girlfriend from the chapter and said, hey, you're an ordained minister. Can you come over and do the wedding? And she did in the backyard. And, I mean, so it's just, and then you get to a point where you're more established and now you want to give back. Or even, you're thinking about retiring and you're looking for guidance on how to make even that transition. So there's something for every chapter in your own personal book in this organization, and friends that will walk that path with you all along the way. And scholarships for you all along the way too, not just for kids.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Well, go ahead.
So it's good. I want to make sure we get some questions in from the students if they have some questions, or anybody else that's on the call. So we get those in. So anybody have anything that they want to ask or any information they think would be important? Haley.
I'm going to put our website in here, and that's all the scholarships, and for the local chapter, how to become a member for the local chapter, and then WAI.org, that's also memberships to that, and scholarships, and Girls in Aviation Day.
Haley, did you have a question?
Come on, we don't bite.
For Annika? One thing I will say is,
Go ahead.
one thing I will say is that I'm here too. So if you get to those recommendation times and you're needing help with either filling out applications or needing guidance on the recommendations, I'll be a resource in building as well. Our students are still coming in, they're flying and they're fixing things right now. So, and I am in the office about 2 or 3 days a week. So if you need me for that, please reach out.
So I'd love to learn about Annika and Kaylee.
We said her mic's not working.
Putting you guys on the spot.
Well, right now I'm on my first semester at TPC in their professional pilot program, and so far it's going really good. I really enjoy learning about aviation, and next week I have my first check ride. So,
Hey!
yes, I'm excited about that.
So you can apply for up to 3 scholarships in this round of scholarships. I happen to know we have a second round coming this year. And it's not just for initial training. It can be for advanced ratings. It can be for college credit. It can be for all kinds of things. And even our chapter will help you pay down debt. So if you incurred some student loans or some credit card debt in getting your training, we'll help you do that. Our scholarships can help you do that too.
Okay, awesome. Is it,
so
what do you have to do to become a member?
So go to WAI.org and there's a join here button and just join. And then you can go to our chapter website if you'd like to join the chapter. But on WAI.org, find the scholarships, education and scholarships, and that's where you find all the scholarships there.
Okay.
And you need to do that like right now because it takes a little bit of time. You've got to put together some letters of recommendation as a student pilot or a pilot. You have to put together some information, your logbook entries, your ratings, your medical stuff like that. So it's going to take you just a little bit of time, but I know people who've applied for 3 scholarships in a year and have won 3 scholarships in a year.
Oh, wow.
And that's real money. So, go for it and go for it every single year.
Okay, I'll definitely have to check that out. Thank you.
Good luck on your check ride.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Thank you.
Never stop training. It's the best. You're the sharpest right now.
Okay. So Kaylee, I just asked her what kind of she was in training right now. She's also in the professional pilot program. She has her PPL. She's almost done with her instrument, and that's just such a bear. So that's really good. Yeah. You've been with us about a year now, right, Kaylee? Okay, yeah. She has a question, so she's going to type in. It's okay.
Oh, we like you. You guys have to be part of the chapter.
It was, and Carmen, she's also been to national, and Michelle, our dispatcher, who Kaylee and sorry, my mind is going blank here. Annika both know because they work with her all the time. She went to Women in Aviation in March with me, so we both came back and thought we've got to figure out how to get our students there too. And so I'm thinking about ways that we can connect and do that.
I got my camera to work, so
hey, Carmen.
I'd like to make a couple of comments. Yes, conferences are always great. You know, it's the thing that I look most forward to every year when I'm able to attend those. And I am so glad to hear that a lot of the things are being done virtual now, because that's one thing that has kept me and a couple of other women I know from joining the local chapter, because it's on the other side of town for us. The two women that I specifically spoke to were also single moms, so it was like almost impossible to carve out time to attend. So I'm so glad that these are virtual now. That's my spill. Oh, and for our two students, I'm there on campus on Mondays and Tuesdays. If y'all need help with anything, joining or anything, y'all can come see me and I can walk y'all through that process.
Thanks, Carmen.
Did we mention we also have conference scholarships? Sorry, specifically our local chapter gives out conference scholarships, so you can apply with those. It's the same as the international deadline. They're all November 10th. But that's a really great way to just get hotel, everything taken care of so that you can go to conference and get a rating.
Kaylee says, I'm really interested in mentorship. Is there a way to connect with other pilots within the group that would be interested in sharing flights? I did not grow up in aviation, and as crazy as it sounds, I'm renting a plane. Just renting a plane terrifies me. I just have no idea how to navigate the aviation world sometimes.
So there's two questions in there. One, it's about the mentorship program, and two, it's about finding other pilots locally to help share the cost of flying, or to find ways to fly more. Mentorship is a great program. You need to be a member, so go to wai.org and join and get involved with the mentorship program there online. It will allow you to select a professional pilot to find a mentor, and even your local area. At the same time, get involved with the chapter. There are a lot of ladies in there who belong to local flying clubs, who own airplanes, there are some, gosh, we've got a high school student whose father has an airplane and she's learning to fly in the airplane, and who knows, maybe there's a way. She's probably going to need a safety pilot, right, as she gets into her instrument license. So I would definitely, that's the best way. Get involved with the chapter and meet people, and you're going to love them. I promise you, you're going to love people in the chapter. I can think of 3 or 4 women right now that if you wanted to go fly, they'd be like, okay, I'll go fly right now.
Once you become a member of the local chapter, we have a members only Facebook group. So you can always just like hop in there and ask for questions, or hey, I'm doing this. Would someone like to come with me? And that's a good way to keep in touch with everyone. Because everything's virtual now.
Yeah. And it was really helpful. I will echo what Carmen said too. It has been some challenge to get our students, because we are way the heck out here. And so it is nice that these things are virtual and they can maybe join that way. I do want to say that I'm going to, one of the things I entice people to participate in with was memberships that I would sponsor, a membership. But Annika and Kaylee, because you showed up tonight, I'm going to sponsor both of your student memberships in both organizations of the chapter and the international. So do find me and let's navigate how we can get that going for you, so you don't have to worry about that. And then we just want you involved. So we are excited that you all came out and talked to them about the organization today. And excited we have these couple of students. We do have some really awesome female students in both the flight program and our maintenance program. So I'm going to continue to try to keep it being connected, and then just an ask from you 3, if I find those one-offs, if they would be able to reach out to one of you to be able to talk through, just if they have other questions. Would you be willing to have some of those students reach out?
Yep.
Absolutely. Here, I'm going to put
Very
my
good.
email address in here
Okay.
also. Also, we have a chapter email address, waintx@gmail.com. Also on our website, waintx.org, is the chapter's website. All of our events, the calendar is there. This is a great time to get involved. The holiday stuff is coming up. We haven't quite figured out how to do that yet, but we've not slowed down at all. I think to the contrary, we're doing more now virtually. We do recognize that the Dallas-Fort Worth area is enormous geographically, and so we've always really tried hard to move meetings around and move events around and do something in Fort Worth and do something in Dallas, do something in Addison, do something in McKinney, so we pop around. So we might, well, this event right here might not be close to you, the next one might be. So you're going to want to get involved and stay involved. And we'll, above all else, we like to have fun together. We all dig airplanes and aviation, and we have that in common going in. And so it's really an easy transition when you sit down across a table from the group. You already have that in common. So it's really easy to relate and just have a good time.
Yeah. And we're always open here. Once we're operational and back open, we will host whatever needs to be hosted here. So you're welcome to come in and use our facilities too. Okay. So thanks, Chrissy. You put in our the next Zoom chapter meeting this week, Saturday at 11. Yeah, that's great. Okay. So I want to just give a couple of announcements real quick. And so just so you know, yeah, so you two come find me. That's good. Carmen has a job fair coming up November 19th, 2 to 5 p.m. It's going to be virtual. It's another great opportunity to interact with some potential employers, even when you're not on the job search. So we want to make sure that you know about that. You can come in and see what they're asking for, and look at those opportunities. A couple of other things. Allison's going to be doing some transfer informational sessions, so make sure you're looking at your email. UNT will be coming, and then Bellevue will be here, so look at that. I have a couple of plugs for me. We do have a student club up here and that I am looking for people to start, to run, to join. So reach out if you're interested in that. And we have information sessions about our programs monthly. And I would love some of our students to be able to just give a brief testimonial about their experience here. So if either of you are interested in that, please let me know about that as well. So that's my last couple of things there. All right. And yes, so thank you all again so much for coming tonight, and for students for showing up, for the staff that came on the call. I just really appreciate it, and I'm anxious to try to get us more involved. So if you think of ways that I can help in my role and what I do, just reach out and let me know, but I'll continue to be connected to you.
Cool. Very, very cool. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
This was fantastic.
Good. Thank you all.
It's nice to see your faces.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.